Good afternoon and welcome to this week's Travel Talk Show. We're so glad that you've taken some time to join us. This week we're going to talk about a Burgundy barge cruise. So we're going to have a look at barge cruising and specifically a cruise that is in the Burgundy region in France. I am Marianne.
So Marianne, you said barge cruise, not river cruise.
Right, it's a barge cruise. It's different.
Okay.
I'm Marianne from the Women's Travel Club. I am the founder of the Women's Travel Club and in charge of marketing. And this is my right hand for all the travel talk shows and probably very many other things in life. This is Kirsten, and she is in charge of guest relations for the Women's Travel Club. So together every week we do a travel talk show on various different subjects. Sometimes they're tours that we have, sometimes it's just general information on different kind of travel related subjects. So we would like to welcome everybody and we'll start our presentation. We will have questions, but we'll wait till the end for questions just because it does kind of interrupt the presentation if we stop. But if you do have a question, you can just post it as in the question and answer section.
Yep.
Or the chat.
Feel free to type them while we're talking.
Yeah, so just type them while we're talking.
Yeah.
And we'll try and keep an eye out for them. And once we see them, we will answer them for you. And at the end, we will definitely do a question and answer period where we will open up the...
Yeah. And we'll get to all those questions that we missed.
Yes, for sure.
Pardon me. Oh, pardon me. It's the pollens. It's the pollens.
'Tis the season.
Yes.
Oh, and this, because we are heading to the Burgundy region of France, you should have your wine with you for this presentation.
I have only water today. I'm sorry. I have only water today. I have no excuses. Please don't take my card. Don't ban me from the club.
Excellent. And so when we talk about barge cruising, we're talking about a very relaxed type of trip. Barge cruising is very slow, so it's going to be a serene, relaxed, just easygoing type of trip.
You know, the word barge to me, doesn't that seem like a slow word? Barge. It just slowly goes barging along. Okay.
And it does remind me of, you know, because these were originally barges that were used to transport goods up and down these small waterways.
Okay.
And they've all been kind of rebuilt and outfitted and made for passengers. It looks like we might have a question.
Lucianne Lesko says she only has the black screen. Should she see a picture? Yes, Lucianne.
Yes, you should. Thank you, Lucy.
Does anybody else have that same problem, Mare? Can you see the other participants?
I'm sharing my screen. You're screen sharing. Recording.
Lucianne, can you, let me just open the chat. There we are too, and the question and answer. Lucianne, can you see Marianne or myself?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
As well as
Laura says it looks fine to her. So
to her. Okay. So let's see. Let's check Lucianne's settings.
Lucianne, yeah, make sure that you have it set so that your audio is on and your screen is on.
Or not audio, probably auto. Oh, her audio, right, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not, Lucianne, if you can see Marianne and myself, then you should also see the other screen. I think maybe we're going to carry on, and
we are recording this, so
yes,
if it doesn't get forwarded, then you can always watch the recording after. You could probably just listen to us for now.
You could, yes.
Okay, so we're going to start by just having a look at a comparison of river cruising versus barge cruising. We do a fair number of river cruises with the Women's Travel Club, and we have lots of women that really enjoy river cruises and enjoy them when they come up, especially anything that kind of like the tulip time or any of the special interest
Oh yeah, definitely. Or
river
the Christmas markets.
Christmas
Yeah,
markets. Yeah, yeah, those
yeah.
are good ones. So we're just going to look at what you would, the differences you would see between a river cruise and a barge cruise. So the first obvious difference is going to be the size of the boat. River cruises, again, they're not very big. They're a lot smaller than an ocean cruise would be, but they are still over 100 passengers generally. Usually between 100 and 150 passengers, depending on the company and the boat. Whereas when you get into barge cruising, it is a very small, quaint kind
Oh,
of trip. So you're like 10 to 20 passengers. And,
so this
you
is
know,
like a small yacht type cruise versus okay, I understand.
yeah, so you could do one of these with a family, with a large
Right?
family or a bunch of
Yeah,
friends together, or
sure.
and a bunch of new friends with the Women's Travel
Well,
Club.
exactly.
So the river cruising can cover a fairly large geographical distance. So you can cover a few different countries in Europe during one kind of 7 to 10 day itinerary. Where the barge cruising, it's going a lot slower, and so it's not going to cover as large a geographical area. Because of the number of people on a river cruise, you're going to have more excursions in a day or more choices of excursions. So you might have a choice. You can, go with this group and do this. You can go see this castle here. Cooking class over here. And with the barge cruising, because it's such a small, intimate group to start with, everybody's going to go do the same thing every day,
Mhm.
unless you have free time, and then of course you can split off and do. Some people might want to go to a museum, other people might want to sit in a cafe. So you can take choices like that during free time. River cruising, most of them have beer and wine with dinner. Some have beer and wine with dinner and lunch. But that's pretty much, if after dinner you can fill up your glass and take it with you, but then, if you're sitting listening to some onboard entertainment, say an hour later, you'd have to pay for your next glass of wine.
Okay.
On the barge cruise, all of the beer and wine is included. So,
Okay.
from getting up in the morning and having a
Nice.
mimosa to beer with lunch, but, with meals, but then also in your spare time. So you're just floating down the waterway and relaxing on a sunbed and you want to
Okay.
have a glass of wine,
You can.
not a problem.
Wow, and you're in Burgundy. Hey,
And you're in
speaking of
Burgundy.
wine, cheers.
Cheers! Because of the size of the river cruises, you're going to travel mostly on the main rivers. So you're like Rhine, Mosel, Danube, those kind of rivers.
Mhm.
On the barge, they're a lot smaller, so you can get on smaller rivers and also even smaller waterways and canals.
Mhm.
Um, on board for river cruises, you're going to usually have different kind of experience activities. You might have a lounge for somebody playing piano in it, or just a few different options. It's a little bit quieter on the barge. Your entertainments could be more sitting around chatting and visiting, or maybe reading a book in a quiet corner by yourself. Just there's not going to be any, say, scheduled onboard entertainment,
Okay.
unless I know that Liz Degger is looking at coming on this, and if she
Oh,
could bring her viola, she could be our onboard entertainment.
now does she
Right?
play violin or viola?
She plays viola.
Oh my goodness me! So she can help refresh my memory, since I haven't played viola since first year university.
She's actually doing a lesson, which she doesn't usually do. She's doing me a very special favor, and she's doing a lesson for my son who's just taken up violin today. So
Ah,
very excited
this is
about that.
this is all
But
very good. Anyway, please, I'm
she's
sorry.
very good. Anyway, so an aside. And of course, anybody else that wants to join us and has any special talents, we're looking for entertainment.
Liz says, okay, you guys, it's both viola and violin. But hey, viola is definitely the best. I agree. I agree.
And so a lot of the river cruises have bicycles on board. Not all do. The barge definitely has bicycles and is very easy to either ride or walk along as the barge is going down the river. So that's how slow it goes, that you can just keep up with it.
Wow. That's
Uh,
slow. Oh, and Luciane is has managed to get on, so that's good.
Oh,
That's great.
yay.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Glad
Thanks,
to hear it, Luciane.
I think
Okay.
Lucy. I think she likes Lucy.
Oh, is it Lucy? I apologize.
Yeah. No, I'm just going by memory from what I've seen, but I think Lucy.
Lucy.
Okay. Oh, gets funny if I click off of it. Okay. And so here's a picture of the Danielle, which is our boat, our barge that we are specifically talking about. You can see she's quite a nice looking barge. Built in 2016 and then updated in 2018. So very, very recently updated and not even built very long ago. So very modern boat for Europe for a barge. One of the most modern boats sailing in Europe right now.
Okay.
Let's have a look at the decks. So there's going to be 3 decks on this barge. The lowest deck, which is kind of at water level, is going to be the cabins. There are 11 cabins. Then the next deck is kind of the living area deck, which is going to have a kitchen at the back, which we don't have to worry about. Dining room area, the bar, a lounge area, terrace.
Which you have to worry about.
Yes, yes. The terrace and a jacuzzi at the front. Now, tell me that shouldn't be fun. On top, we have a sun deck, which you can't go up to the sun deck if it's going through the locks because it's too low. But if it's not through the locks, you can sit up on the sun deck and kind of watch France sail by.
How nice is that? And this is in May, I believe, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, that's that's going to be a beautiful time to be on the river.
Yes.
Ah.
And here's a little bit closer kind of look at the outside. So you can see that lovely jacuzzi at the front and some outdoor tables for, sitting outside when it's nice out. And the sun deck up top with the loungers.
Oh.
This is a cabin.
How nice is that?
Yes, they're very cute. They're very cozy, 118 square feet.
How many, sorry?
118.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so cozy. Barges, they're smaller boats, right? And they've got to fit in those locks. And so there's just not a lot of room to kind of spread out when it comes to cabins. So the cabin is kind of cozy. I would suggest you have to climb on the bed from the end. I
think maybe, or think very skinny sideways thoughts. Yeah,
that's okay. Once you're in bed, you're fine.
Well, and you know what? It's not. I mean, we're just be sleeping in there. Or if somebody wants to take a rest, I'm sure that that there's other options for the other roommate if they don't want to rest.
Yeah, for sure. All the cabins have exterior views, so they have these nice kind of windows along the top, nice and bright. There's TV and radio, and there are telephones for just internal calls, so you can call the girls in the other cabin. Hey, what you doing? There are hair dryers. It's always a question we get on any hair dryers.
No, very true.
It's very important. So there are definitely hair dryers. And
that one thing when you travel that's constantly giving you grief.
Yes. And air conditioning. The boat is air conditioned, so that's important too.
Very.
Each cabin has its own ensuite washroom. Sorry, it's not a great picture. It was the best picture I could come up with, but it gives you an idea. It does have a full shower and toilet vanity.
Oh, okay.
So you're
Wow.
again not huge, but big enough for everything you need. And again, every cabin has its own washroom. And so here's a little overview, kind of look down on the cabin. So you see the two twin beds.
Yep.
There's like a cabinet, and then there's another closet. So there is room, and there's room under the bed to put your luggage. So there is room to actually unpack and hang up some stuff and get out of your luggage for the week. And then there's the washroom you can see with the shower and toilet and sink. This is the dining room.
Oh.
There is a Michelin star rated chef on board.
Get out of here on a barge.
I know.
Okay.
I know. So there you go. So, you know, that's what this cruise is very much you're going to find as we go through kind of what we see and do. It's going to be definitely about the food and wine. So
yes, that I know from the itinerary.
Yes. Yeah. This is a lounge area, which is quite nice. It looks very comfy. I like the chaise kind of chairs at the end. Yep. You can kind of get relaxed and chat and visit.
I love the pop of yellow. I love that pop of yellow.
It's a very nice kind of color, kind of modern, but kind of bright and happy. Yep. There is Wi-Fi on board in the public areas, which is always another question we get. Hair dryers and Wi-Fi. Yes and yes.
Yes and yes.
Yes and
yes.
Good
answers.
And down there's that full service bar with the beer, wine, and soft drinks, which are unlimited and included. So let's actually have a look at the journey the barge is going to take. So we're going to start and finish in Dijon. Actually, we start and finish in Paris, but we do the barge journey itself starts and finishes in Dijon. And we're on the Saône.
Yep.
Saône River. My French is atrocious, so Kirsten is.
I'm going to do the names as best I can. I mean,
my French. Yes. And it's just such a relaxed journey. You're going to see as it goes on. Like, this is just a nice, easygoing, relaxed, not that, like, some of our tours are amazing, but they're so full that you're going
kind of
through.
Need a bit of a holiday after.
You know. Yeah, especially when, like, as tour hosts, we could do like 2 or 3 tours back to back, and if they're all busy tours, you're like exhausted by the end.
Please let me go home. Please let me go home.
So this is different, which is good because it's kind of the start of a good month and a half of touring for me, I think. So
yeah, I think so. So.
It'll be a nice relaxed start to that.
Nice.
Okay, so we start in Paris, and then we take a high-speed train down to Dijon. The train is included. Most of us will be on the same train. They have various trains that go throughout the day. There are not all direct, and obviously it's best to be on a direct train. The ones that stop take so much longer to get anywhere. So direct is awesome. So if we can, if your flight allows, and you'll be on the direct train. If not, we'll try and get you on another direct train. If you can't, you might be on a train with stops.
And it's all the milk run.
Yes, the milk run. It's all dependent on flight times, and definitely we can help with flight. Debbie can help with your flight and get organized and possibly get you on a flight that, say, we're on, because I think we'll be traveling. Neither one of us have a tour before, do we?
I have to confess, with all the moving around of tours.
Yeah, I know I'm a little.
I apologize to our viewers as well. I am not going to quote a single date because I don't know what is going when at this point.
Yeah, yeah. Next year's a little bit full.
Yeah,
So
that's okay.
yes,
Good.
yes, and we're actually this tour has two tour hosts.
Yes.
You get both of us. It's like two for the price of one. Um, and
And we
that is
promise not to talk at the same time, mostly.
and that is because of, well, because Kirsten really wanted to come on it and I really wanted to go on it. So that was one reason. The other reason is that we have extra room on it because it holds up to 22, but we're only taking like 16 because just of our normal group sizes. So we had extra room on board. And also because afterwards, Kirsten goes on to lead a tour and I go on to lead a different tour.
Different one, yeah.
So that's kind of why you get 2 for 1. And so the first night when we get to Dijon, we stay at the Mercure Hotel in Dijon before we actually board the barge. And when we get to Dijon, depending on time and schedule, you may have free time to kind of start exploring. We will have a get acquainted kind of meeting and dinner that night so everybody can get to know each other. The next day is going to be a free day, but I'm going to turn it over to Kirsten, who's going to do the second half.
All right. So, we've got together at the Hotel Mercure. Do you know what time people will be getting there? Will it be sometime? So it might be earlier in the day to do stuff.
It's not going to be terribly early. Like you're not going to get there in the morning because you still have to, depending on what you're doing, you have to get to Paris, which your flight will probably get to Paris in the morning. Okay. And then from Paris, you have to get the train to get to Dijon. So depending on schedules and such, it's going to be early afternoon at best.
Right. Plus then get to the hotel and unpack and then have a meeting. Yeah. So really, I think our first full day is the next day is our first full day in Dijon, which is where we can really explore. There's a number of things that we can do there. One of the things there's a duke has a residence there, so there's a ducal palace. There's also mustard tasting. Now, you may not know this about me, Marianne, but I actually adore mustard tasting. So I will like more even than wine. Yeah, I was thinking about that. I don't know if it's more than wine tasting, but it's darn close to wine tasting. So anyhow, I will be definitely doing some of the mustard tasting. Also, there are vineyard tours that are available. Now, Marianne, you know more about the tour host. Are they the ones offering our excursions, and will they set that up for us, or do we have to tell them ahead of time?
There's not some tours we have excursion and like optional excursions we can do ahead of time.
Okay.
For this one, there's not anything we can really book ahead of time, but there are definitely options when we're there. And we have a local tour guide that's with us through the whole time that we're there. And they will definitely help organize anything that you want to do. And there'll be options we don't even know of.
Okay.
So once we get there, there'll be
we don't have to worry about any of this ahead of time, really. No. Just there are a number of things that we can do at that day anyway. So now for mustard tasting, for instance, we could all go together. Some of us might go there, some might do a vineyard tour. There's a number of things, it seems like. Marianne, there you go, you're moving. Can we have the next day, the next day, which
hold on, I got Jackie sent me a message that she wasn't seeing Kirsten's picture. And so I was just telling her that when you go on to the little thumbnails of the pictures, if you kind of put your cursor over it, you might have 3 little kind of button options at the top. And so you might be able to kind of click on the different ones to have her show up. Is the only thing.
Mine, yeah, in mine, it's different because I'm the participant, unfortunately, so I can't quite see. Sorry about that, guys. We were distracted by technical difficulties in the background there. But yes, first free day, we're going to do. Well, there's a number of options of things to explore. Myself, mustard tasting, but there's vineyard tours. The second day, so now is we'll actually have our first full day of cycling, which sounds bad, but it really is not. No. Because again, the barge can go at walking speed. So this is a full day cycling tour. So we cycle from sort of spot to spot and stop and, you know, enjoy the view, learn a little bit about the local culture. And a lot of these, places, they'll have a small snack station and they'll, oh yes, the food. There will be a lot of food on this trip. Food and wine.
Food and wine, food and wine. You're going to want to cycle.
Yeah, food and wine. So the cycling and getting the cycling done, I think early in the day, before the wine, maybe might be key.
And also, so there's bicycles just free on board for your use anytime, and definitely during these excursions. There are also, if you would like to rent an e-bike, so there are 2 days of cycling in the tour itself. Any other cycling is completely optional, and of course, even this is optional, but I'm not going to force you to buy a cycle. But
no, you're not forced to cycle with us.
There are 2 days of cycling, and if you would like to rent an e-bike for those 2 days, they'll bring an e-bike along, and that is $127 Canadian, so about say $100 US. And you just have to let us know ahead of time. So actually, on the booking form, when you book this, there is a spot to click off if you would like to rent an e-bike, and we can just arrange that ahead of time. There's also a support vehicle that follows the cyclist, so that if anybody gets tired or just doesn't want to go on, or heaven forbid something happens and falls off, or we have a bike issue or anything, there is a support vehicle to take the person and the bicycle.
Super. And then usually, and I'm going to assume that this is going to be the same, then the support vehicle will drive the person from spot to spot for the vistas and the vineyards and so forth that we see.
So they wouldn't miss anything. They still continue along.
That's lovely. So, this day, on this day as well, we are going to have a I think our first wine tasting, in the quaint village of Vougeot, and we will be meeting. Oh, here we go. This is the Chateau de Clos du Vougeot. And it's in the all of this, by the way, is in the Côte de Nuit region, which I did not realize until researching this trip, that was where they have a Grand Cru Burgundy wine it being produced. I did not know that, and that's my favorite French wine. So, hello, mustard wine. Yeah, I was going. Like, oh, you're coming too? How nice is that? To you. Yes, so after our tour, where we're meeting our boat in Lancourt en Plaine, and where this is very near the chateau. What more do you know about this chateau, about this region, Mare?
I
guess it's in the Grand Cru.
This is the winery. I'm pointing to my screen.
Oh, you're pointing to your screen, yes.
That where some of the most expensive wines are produced.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So,
I wonder if we'll get to taste them.
Probably not.
Yeah, probably not.
From previous wine tastings I've done in various places in the world, they don't usually let you taste the really good stuff.
True story. All right. So after, yes. So if we could have the next slide, please, Mare. Oh, nice. This is nice. This is what it looks like. This is the Saone River that the barge will be cruising down. I'm also just gesturing to the slide if you all noticed. But it's the water. It's the water. Then there's the cycling walking path that goes alongside. So you can obviously you can't just hop on, hop off, but there'll be spots where you can get off, where it's suitable to get off, and you can walk or cycle if you feel like it for a while, where then you can get to another spot where you can get back on. So that's, this way, I think it emphasizes that you could actually walk this tour. I mean,
Yeah.
well, would you? But you could. It's that relaxed.
It's such a, yeah, and that's such a nice thing because you're, on the barge and like going down the river and chatting with friends and like, hey, let's get out and walk for a bit.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hey, that looks like a pretty field. Let's go walk. Or hey,
yeah,
look at that cool barn. Let's go, take some pictures of it.
yeah,
Or that kind of thing. So that'll be really fun. And now I think we're headed to the Saint Jean de Lone, I believe, which is yes it is. So this is one of the capitals of the river barging world, I learned. And well, first of all, I learned that there was a river barging world. That was number one. And Saint Jean de Lone is, I guess, located at the crossroads of two big waterways. So this is kind of like a hub. And the local cafes, you can still often find the regulars of the old canal barges and riverboats. So you can grab a table and get to know the locals if you want. What else can we do here, Mare? I think there's a few options.
Museums.
Museums,
There's
true.
a barge museum, and so if you really decide that barging's your thing, there's a museum you can go to and learn all about it.
And I think we spend the full day here. Once we
Yeah,
arrive here,
you have like
we
a
spend the
whole
full
day to kind of explore.
Yep.
You could, definitely just
Explore at your
wander the
leisure.
streets. There's lots of shopping.
Right.
Shopping's always
Oh, shopping, cafes, wine,
yeah,
coffee, croissant.
yeah.
Hello. Indeed. All right. So we spend a day in Saint Jean de Lone, and then we had this is another full day. This is our second full day cycling, I believe.
Yeah,
Is that
so we do
correct?
another full day of cycling.
Yes. To the vineyards of the Côte de Beaune region, which is known for white wine, particularly Chardonnay. Oh,
We're gonna do
Chardonnay. May I bring this up, Marianne? May I say, are you going to make a vote? Because there's the age-old question: oaked or unoaked Chardonnay.
Here we go.
We have two different camps. I am definitely no oak. Do not oak my wine. Maybe I'm getting a little bit of a palate for some of the woodier California wines, but Marianne is miles ahead of me on the oak love, I would say. So I'm no oak. Oh, Liz Dager loves oaked Chardonnay. Well, everybody can cast your vote if you have one on the matter of Chardonnay. Well, we talk.
There we go.
Okay. So next, oh yes. So in this area, we have another wine tour, winery tour. If I could have the next slide, Marianne.
Okay, hold on.
Oh.
I know, I lost my slides. Can you still see the slides?
I definitely can still see the slides. Yep. Oh, I think we're getting another vote. Oh, is the local guide on the tour? Yes,
yeah,
absolutely. The local guide is with us for the entire time. And they'll be able to, they're the ones they'll answer questions. They don't just answer questions. They always have lore and stories and history and culture of the region that we're traveling to too. So they're on the boat with us. Okay. Here's our poll.
The poll is up.
Oaked or unoaked Chardonnay? Hosts and panelists can't vote.
You always vote. And we'd null each other out.
Yeah, we would, wouldn't we? Okay, so oaked, unoaked, or red, please. Now, we'll leave some time for the poll. Yeah. So this is
time to think about it. We'll continue.
Yes. Okay. So we'll be the winery that we visit this day is the Chateau de Chassagne Montrachet. My goodness, I beg your pardon if I butchered that. They are known for their not just organic wines, like ultra, like another layer of organic. Um, like even in the
Biodynamic.
biodynamic, yes, yes,
Biodynamic.
exactly.
Which is
Which will go ahead.
when you use other biological organisms, I don't know,
Methods,
fauna
maybe.
to help your production of grapes. So sometimes you see this where they plant like marigolds to keep insects away, or they will use a certain type of bring in a certain type of insect, like ladybugs, I think.
Oh, right. Yes. Okay. To
And
control aphids.
so
Yeah.
they use like natural ways to control pests and to
Right.
increase their production. So
Because organic doesn't always necessarily mean clean. I mean, it's
yeah,
better usually, but I mean, there's obviously issues with that. So this is, really biologically as I think pure as you can get a wine. Well, they say. I mean, I guess you know,
find it.
yeah, we'll find
Um,
out.
okay,
Lucy had a question though, Mayor,
question
about
for
how
Lucy.
fast do you
Yeah,
bicycle?
it's
Not
very,
fast.
very relaxed.
No.
This is no race. This is
Slow,
just
slow,
kind of
slow, slow, slow.
meandering,
Yeah.
seeing sights, easygoing,
Like ambling.
and never faster than the slowest person.
Right. True. That's very true. Very, very true. Always at a reasonable pace. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not, this type of cycling is not really for exercise, although of course, I mean, you're going to get exercise because it's cycling, but it's just a way of ambling from place to place. Okay. Lucy's, good with that. So yeah. So anyway, that looks like a lovely flight of wine, by the way, does it
Oh,
not?
doesn't it look great?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. I have so much to do. Fancy
Yeah, there
flip
is. Oh,
slides.
good. Oh, more wine tastings. So,
Just to
yeah,
emphasize this tour, if you're iffy on wine and don't like to eat a lot, this might not be the tour for you.
probably not. Well, you'd still see some very
Unless,
beautiful French
yeah,
countryside. Yes, you'd see some very beautiful countryside. So we'll continue cycling along the Côte de Beaune, and where we'll stop in villages, shopping, sightseeing, vineyards along the way. And the ride also is primarily flat. This is very flat land. So it's another this is another reason why bicycling along here is a really great way to explore Burgundy.
yeah,
So it's kind of like a cycling and barge tour, but you don't have to cycle at all either. I mean, you can also just stay on
no,
the barge, or you can just stay in the car so that you can see all the things that the cyclists will be seeing.
yeah. And there are only 2 days of actual cycling. Like you could
For sure.
cycle every day if
If
it's
you
your
want.
thing, and this is a great way for you to explore. It's fun, it's safe. It's a lot of path cycling, so you're not cycling up roads or anything like
Yeah.
that. So definitely, if you like to cycle, this is a great way to see the countryside. If
Yes.
you're a little unsure about cycling, like some of us haven't been on a bicycle in 10 years.
Yes. Or more. Or more.
So then it's only 2 days. And that's the way I think. I don't think I've been on a bicycle in about 10 years. Kirsten has a
I
bicycle.
have. I have. Yes.
So I'm like,
But
it's only 2 days. I can do 2 days, if nothing else.
you can do it. Do you know what? It really is like riding a bike. It's a saying for a reason. All right, and Marianne, I think so you're going to go over the inclusion. I apologize. I'm a little hoarse. The pollens are getting to me.
No, you're good. So, okay, so just like a quick overview of everything that's included in our tour, and you can definitely find all this information on our website. If you just go under the tour calendar or under cruises, anywhere, any of those kind of main pages, you find the Burgundy Barge cruise and click on that, and you'll have full details, including all the pricing, the dates, and the full itinerary day by day. So it does include the six nights on the barge and the 1 night hotel, the various wine tastings that we were talking about, and the use of the bicycles. It includes 7 breakfasts, 3 lunches, and 3 dinners. It does not include all your meals. That some cruises, like a lot of the river cruises, everything like that, include all the meals. And this is because we spend so much time in little towns, villages, and some of them have excellent, excellent restaurants that you're going to want to try. So they've opted to, on certain times when we're on the barge and we don't really have other great options, we're going to have meals on the barge. Other times we're going to have options, and including one is, I think it's a Michelin star restaurant.
That's amazing, Marianne.
Like outside.
I know. That's incredible.
So there's just so many options. That's kind of where that comes from. However, wine, beer, and non-alcoholic drinks are all included all day long. Your first class train ticket from Paris to Dijon and back to Paris is included. All your shipboard gratuities, including the gratuities for the tour guide, are included. And
the captain, the captain, all of that.
Yeah, so your shipboard gratuities and your gratuities for our local tour guide.
Tour guide. Perfect.
And you will have not one, but 2 Women's Travel Club tour hosts.
There to make sure your every wish is our command. Well, no, wait, hold on.
Somewhat.
Hold on. Can I just wait? If it is in our power to make you happy, we will do it.
Oh, very nicely put.
Yes, that's my mandate.
Okay, and here, the answers are in for the Chardonnay.
Okay.
We have, by, I think, a clear majority
of
oak,
isn't it?
No, a note.
Yes.
A note.
Oh, yay, you people. Thank you. It's not just me. Marianne looks at me. Okay, this is a little backstory.
I like oak Chardonnay, though, too. But I don't mind oak.
But you've looked down your nose at me for my whole not liking oak thing and mocked me. I don't know, many times you have.
I don't think I mocked you.
I think you have. I think you have.
And not so much in whites, but in my reds, I love a woody red.
You do like a woody red.
Like.
And in my defense, I have learned to actually more than tolerate, enjoy them, because that's what I get when I go to Marianne's house.
That's all we got. Actually, our new thing is Pinots. Pinots from California. True. They're not as oaky, so.
No, they're not.
And then, if you haven't had enough, friends, we do have a post-tour extension to Paris. The post-tour extension does 3 nights deluxe accommodation. It's a beautiful hotel right in the Opera region in Paris. Your transfers from airport or train station, depending on how you're arriving. So if you're arriving after this tour, it'll be transferred from the train station to the hotel, and then at the end of the extension, it'll be hotel to the airport to go home. Breakfast daily, 1 lunch, 2 dinners. It's got a Paris City tour, Sienne cruise, priority access to the 2nd floor of the Eiffel Tower. We do a full day excursion to Giverny and Versailles, including lunch. It includes your gratuities, and we have an English speaker driver and guide, and of course your Women's Travel Club tour host.
Me, yay!
And that's it. So now we are waiting patiently for any questions anyone may have. If you want to just raise your hand, we can turn on your speaker so you can talk. I see Jackie has her hand up. Let's see if she's here. Jackie, are you there? Would you like to speak?
Hello?
Jackie?
Yay!
You know what? I think my hand was still up when I was worried about not seeing Kirsten. The two are fabulous. Thank you. I don't know why I couldn't see her, but
did it sort out? Did you fix it? Did it get it better?
No, No,
Oh,
on that little dot thing, it didn't give me an option, but I wasn't worried
wasn't,
about
eh?
it. No, thank you.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, yeah,
We're
there's
not
a,
as technologically advanced as we could be. So
yeah, like there's a
we're a
side,
little like, oh, I don't know. I'm sorry.
yeah,
No, it's
I'm
quite
not a
all
big,
right. I have an older iPad, so
okay.
it may be that. So not to worry. Thank you.
Well, thank you, and thanks for chatting. We like to when people come on and
Yes.
say hello.
Oh, thank you. No, I'm enjoying them very much.
Oh,
Excellent.
wonderful.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Jackie.
Jackie. Flora Benoit had a question. Is there singles available? Is there a single supplement?
There are singles available. Hold on, let me see if I can find the pricing.
Sorry, what you're seeing here is what Marianne and I do when we consult about travel.
I know, you know, the reason I don't put the prices on the webinar is because we reuse the webinar. So once we make the webinar, and when we do this tour again, we can put this webinar up as a recording on the tour. So, and because
True, but
prices
once,
change year to year.
but we're going to want to do this again anyway with our own photos.
Yeah. So the pricing is for the double rate, it's $48.79 Canadian, which is about.
Sorry, is that, and can, Marianne,
Yeah.
is that just the Burgundy Barge portion, or is that the Paris portion, or what?
Is just the Burgundy Barge portion.
Okay.
We have a lot of US ladies, so just give me and so that's about 3,500 give or take US. So
Okay.
right now the US dollar is really strong, and our Canadian dollars pricing
Really?
makes it very beneficial. So about $3,500 US for you.
Okay.
That's for double occupancy. Single occupancy is $59.09. So really not bad considering a lot of cruises charge almost double for single occupancy, but we have so many women that would prefer their own room if they can. So we try and get the best rate we can for singles.
So how many singles are available? Or do we know that yet?
I think like a fair number. I think like 4 or 5.
4 or 5. Okay.
Yeah.
And 59.50 you said Canadian?
59.09 Canadian. So that's about 4,300 US.
Okay. So 35 and 43 for the double single.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Any other questions?
Any other questions? Anybody want to come on and say hello? Just raise your hand.
Or just say hi. Yeah, or just ask another question about another tour. I was going to say, yeah, we'll want to do this one again when we can have our own slides and put them on.
Yes, yeah, for sure. We'll do that.
So
we've got a question. Lucy wants to talk.
Okay.
I'm always so excited when people want to come and talk.
I know, I love talking to people. And nobody who knows me is surprised by that statement.
Oh, I can't unmute her. Maybe she can unmute herself. Lucy, if you can unmute yourself, I think you may have yourself muted. Oh, there. Okay. Yes, you should be able to talk now.
Lucy?
Lucy?
Lucy? Oh, I think we're going to see Lucy. Oh, no, it's just your, oh, hang on. Oh, Laura Dooley has a question, wants to know if we're doing Australia and New Zealand in 2020, Mare. And
in 2020 or 2021?
2020, this fall.
2020. Okay. It is at this point planned for the fall of 2020. However, there are issues being that the Australian New Zealand government's not letting anybody in. So we are looking at rescheduling to probably kind of March-ish, February of 2021 when everything opens up. But nothing is confirmed yet because it's just seems to be taking forever for the supplier to get everything sorted. And I think it's just a lot of it to do with in Australia, New Zealand, and their borders and being kind of closed right now, and a lot of people in tourism not actually working right now. So getting answers has been slow, but I think Debbie might know better, but I think it's almost sorted, and that we should have it for early 2021 when things open up. And I also got a message from Debbie, which yeah, always has, that there's only one single right now available.
Oh.
We may be able to get more depending, but right now there's just one single available for the
Okay.
market.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you. Now, Flora mentions that she's actually been in France when some rivers were dried up. What if that's the case on this tour? And I know from other tours that then we go on a different river, but I don't know if, and I think in this case, because the Saône is going to be, well, it's a large enough river and it's early enough in the season, that is
that
possible, but unlikely.
Yeah, anything's possible, like what we're living through. So absolutely anything is possible. Unlikely at the time we're going, but still could happen. And if that were to be the case, we would have to work with the supplier. We want to make sure if they give us an alternate. So if they give us an alternate route, we have to make sure it's as good.
Yeah, it's as good. Yeah.
We're not losing anything on this by changing where we go. So if it can be changed and still keep the quality of the tour, we would do that. If not, it could be postponed, canceled, something along those lines. And you know, I just want to say, I can't happen. No more bad stuff in travel.
No more. Yeah.
You know, if anything, we've learned to prepare for the worst. So
yes, for sure.
If it did happen, we would absolutely work around it in some way. But not lose the quality of the tour would be paramount to us.
Yeah. Awesome.
Anything else? Anybody else? Wish we could get Lucy. Can't make Lucy talk. Maybe microphone on her end isn't cooperating.
That's all right.
If you have a question, Lucy, just type it in the question and answer and we'll read it out for you. But if not, then that might be good.
That might be it.
So I want to thank everybody very much for taking the time to join us this afternoon. We always really enjoyed the travel talks. We try and keep it kind of casual and kind of fun. We do talk about different things every week. If anybody ever has any suggestions of a travel talk, something they want to see, let us know, because sometimes we run out of ideas.
Absolutely.
Also, next week, we're going to look at grand journeys. So grand journeys are a lot of our tours that work together.
Back-to-back tours.
Another starts, and it gives you a great way to see more of an area. If you've got some extra time, you get to see more with one trip. So we're going to talk about grand journeys, how they work, where they are, what's available, and that type of thing next week. And then we do have some more webinars coming up that look at some of the other river cruises. So if you heard a little bit about river cruising today and you thought that kind of sounds interesting, stay tuned for in a couple weeks and we talk more about river cruising.
Wonderful. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming.
I hope everybody has a great day and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.